Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the week ahead analysis, some of the strengths and weaknesses in the currencies, and some potential opportunities. Now, a bit of a surprise ending to the week, really, with Jerome Powell playing down the talks of tapering. Due to that, the dollar has fallen quite significantly. We can see that on the charts. It's not going to show up on the strength and weakness chart just yet because the strength and weakness chart is based off many trends and other factors. And if the trends haven't technically changed yet, due to the parameters set, then we won't see that filter through. One currency that didn't do particularly well last week was the Canadian dollar. We saw that against quite a few of the pairs, and according to the strength meter, the Canadian dollar has performed quite poorly. Now, looking at the charts, it's actually quite difficult to pick many to trade from, just because if we look at the sort of numbers in here, they're all around similar numbers. So that basically means that there's not real any standout strong and weak currencies. Now, when that happens, then you're best off sticking to the major currency pairs and trading sort of the dollar action rather than trading the cross pairs, because the cross pairs you're basically trading the major prices against each other. So you want to do all your analysis really on those dollar pairs regardless, and that's what we're going to do in this video. If we go and take a look at the US dollar index, I'll just put it on the monthly time frame just to show us what we kind of were expecting to see and what's happened. Now, last month or the previous month, we had a nice bearish close. This month, it looks to be a little bit more of a bullish close, depending on how the next sort of 2 days of trading goes. But essentially, if we see some further downside to what we saw on Friday, then we're likely going to finish with a close inside last month's close. Now, usually when we get those type of candlesticks, it could suggest some further downside. If I go to the daily time frame, it looks to me like we've broken through the previous area of support, which is this sort of little range through there. Now, if Monday was to close bearish as well and give us 2 closes below those lows, then I would suggest that we would see some further downside in the dollar index market, and we could see some moves towards sort of $92 or at least 91 sort of 50. Going into pound then, so I'm going to just check out the monthly charts first, just because they're looking like little reversal setups, especially here on the pound. You can see that we're kind of forming a bearish inside candle at the moment. If we look at the weekly price action, it looks like we're forming a sort of bullish rejection of this support. Now, these lows were crucial to us last week. If we had broken through those lows, then this head and shoulders pattern would have completed. So I would have been more on the short side of the pound. What we were looking for was that retracement this week, last week, which did play out. We were wondering how price would react in this area, and we've just had a bit of a mixed consolidation move. We started to see the trend continuation, but then when Jerome Powell started to talk, we saw the reversal in that. So we've just got a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of a mix to what's going on here. And if price was to break to the upside and retest, then I think we could head back towards these previous highs around about the 1.39 area minimum. If it breaks through that, 1.4, 1.42 isn't off the cards here for a pound move. Alternatively, if the market shakes off that dollar news, then we could see a move back down towards 136.19. But at the moment, very hard to pick which way this market could go, and this is where we can use those technicals just to offer us a little bit more of a direction. Going into Aussie then, so if we actually look at the Aussie US dollar price, look at this monthly chart, look at this nice potential reversal setup we have here. A really nice long wick to the downside. If it closes like this in the next couple of days, we would have a close in the previous range low. Now that's usually, again, another sign that we could see a reversal in the market. Technically here on the monthly, we are making lower lows and lower highs, so we could still see an extension up on the price of the Aussie US dollar. And if we look at last week's price action, we've come back up into this resistance, which is something, again, we talked about in last week's week ahead analysis video. We talked about the price coming into this level here. Could we then see either a continuation of the downtrend or a reversal? Now that's what we're kind of looking for now, considering that monthly's closing the way it is. We're either going to see a reversal here or a potential continuation, and I think what we're going to focus on is how price reacts in and around this area. If we get a strong reversal signal and price creates a bearish candlestick looking like the bullish one that we saw on Friday, then I think we could see some downside back towards these 7120 lows. If not, and we see a price breakthrough, then we could see a trend reversal. Now, seasonally, Aussie US dollar doesn't particularly perform too well through the summer periods, or through sort of September time especially. However, we started to see a little bit of fundamental news affecting what we could be seeing on the charts, so that's what could drive this market to reverse. Going into gold then, gold could be an interesting chart to watch just because of the situation with the US dollar. We talked about long opportunities on this last week. Look at this potential inverse head and shoulders. Could see some further upside in the price of gold. If we look at the weekly, continued that move to the upside as expected, because what we looked at was the fact that the gold prices had formed a new higher high, came back into that area. This was an area we then spoke about looking for long opportunities in the market, and if I go down into that 4-hour time frame, you'll see that change in trend pattern that we talk about often on the channel. We talk about looking for the changes of trend, and you can see we break through these highs here, and even this short shallow pullback through there, and then the market forms a higher low and we see a move to the upside. Obviously, this was news generated. However, now looking at this market, if this is going to continue up to the areas which we were looking at in the previous video, which was around about 1830, then we could see a continuation going into this week. What I'd be looking for is pullbacks on the 4-hour time frame. If we pull back into kind of any significant areas and started to find some support, maybe back in this area where we had resistance recently, then we could consider some long positions if the dollar is going to continue to weaken. So keep an eye on gold in here. Could be one to watch as price potentially rallies. Thanks for watching this video update. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch some more Forex content, and I hope you have a great trading week.